What's up, everybody? Well, today I'm here to do another full house cleaning to test vacuum cleaning performance. This time I thought I would feature the senior Hoover in my collection, the Hoover Dial-A-Matic. And this vacuum is a 2-for-1. It's both the first clean air vacuum series to ever debut in the vacuum industry, and it is also the first self-propelled vacuum by Hoover. And today, I'm going to be testing its cleaning performance. Now, what inspired me to do this mostly happened after I recently rebuilt the Brushroll. I installed brand new bearings on both sides. However, I did convert this to the later style bearings because those are more readily available than the old style. If anyone remembers, the original Brushroll bearings to these actually look like this. So you have the little metal cap. They are permanently sealed, and a little felt washer sits over the top, which probably is for vibration, and it's held in place by a little plastic retainer cap. However, select models of Dial-A-Matics would later go to the newer style with the plastic end caps that aren't held in by retainers. They just slide over and hang, and there are little wavy washers that sit right inside to prevent it from going too close to the inside of the pulley. And they aren't held in by retainer clips. So yeah, I converted this to put the new style bearing inside. But however, upon doing that, I actually ended up destroying the original bearing inside the original end pulley for the Brushroll, and it just would not come out. This was so stubborn and stuck in there from all the rust that the bearing ended up destroying itself when I tried to remove it. So because of that, and there's still a little piece left in here, I couldn't fit the new bearing inside of this. So, not by choice, I was forced to buy a new old stock end pulley for this that doesn't have any remaining pieces of bearing in it, so I could fit the new bearing in. So I was able to do that. And now this thing spins very smoothly, almost better than a lot of the Dial-A-Matics that were out in the day. And this is a perfect time to tell you that the bristles I'm going to be using in this are the red bristle ones. These are the same style brush strips that you can get on the Hoover convertible of the time. They are nice and long, and they are pretty stiff. A little bit stiffer than the black bristle brush rolls I have in some of my convertibles. Now, I haven't used all of the different brush strips for these Dial-A-Matics and convertibles, and I do not know whether or not these were recently replaced. I want to say yes, because my convertible has, at least one of my convertibles, the Ranger Hood one, has the red bristles, but they aren't as stiff as this one. But they definitely are stiffer than the black bristles, I will tell you that. So one of these days I will get a hold of some other replacement bristles, the black bristles, maybe some more red bristles and orange bristles and some black bristles, or actually white bristles. They also make those, and maybe run them in this for future cleaning performance videos, not just for this Dial-A-Matic, but also for the convertibles. And here, right there is the self-propelled transmission. And as many people know, I like to run modern HEPA bags in this thing. But unfortunately, there are not too many bag choices for HEPA bags for the Dial-A-Matic. But one I found from another collector is that a Simplicity, or Riccar, or Taconi in general, Type A bag, not to be confused with the Hoover Type A bag, will fit in place on this. And so far, this thing seems to hold on pretty tightly. So we'll just have to see how this all works when I do the cleaning performance, which I already tried a Kenmore O bag. I couldn't get the thing to seat on right. This Riccar Simplicity A bag seems to fit on better than the Kenmore O bag. So we'll see how this all fares out in cleaning performance. So after yammering on for about 5 minutes, 30 seconds, let's go ahead and get to full house cleaning with this thing. So on this one, the cord surprisingly is long enough for me to vacuum into my room instead of in the middle of my room, all in one take. So that's one nice thing. Also, quick disclaimer, when I run this thing, the transmission on this does have a interesting squealing sound that it does that eventually clears up if you use it more. So I'm not too sure how to fix that. Maybe I'd have to either replace the transmission or re-grease the original. So away we go. Wow, this transmission is very responsive. You can hear a little bit of the chirping, but surprisingly it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Some other times I've ran it, it actually sounds much worse. so it doesn't lie as flat as it should. A little bit better from the side, but it doesn't really lie too flat. This thing is built like a tank. The self-propelled is extremely snappy. That's one thing I will credit this thing for. It's definitely a lot more responsive than even some of my later model concepts and power drives do. But grooming action, I will definitely tell you, this grooms amazing. I mean, part of that has to do, obviously, with the bristles being long and semi-stiff, but also very dense. That is one thing I love. So this thing grooms excellent. Now, there's obviously a little mark along the side where the belt rides. That's to be expected on these. But just fantastic grooming results for a clean air vacuum that was very new to the market, long before the wind tunnel. This essentially is the wind tunnel self-propelled's grandfather on the family tree. Great-grandfather, more likely. But let's go ahead and continue on. Well, time to give the cat a heart attack. Stuck on the rug for a second there. And just like that, the full house cleaning is all complete. If there's any word I could use to describe this vacuum, that would be revolutionary. Mostly for its time. But revolutionary is still what I would describe one of these vacuums. Not only was this the first clean air designed vacuum, meaning the fan pulls the dirt in instead of blowing the dirt into the bag, while exhausting out through a series of filters, although in the Dial-A-Matic's case, there's just one single cheap black pleated filter on the exhaust vent up here that does accumulate dust over time, which I may have to find a way to replace this one of these days. I'm thinking about cutting out pieces of a HEPA cloth bag or something along those lines and taping it up to the exhaust vent so that it traps dust and motor carbons a bit better than this guy does, because this definitely reeks of that annoying vacuum smell, even worse than my direct air vacuums. But other than that, yeah, not only is this the first clean air vacuum, but it is also the first self-propelled vacuum. And yeah, this definitely came out long before other companies like Eureka, Dirt Devil, and Kirby started entering the self-propelled market. And honestly, I think the only one that still is making self-propelled vacuums anymore is Kirby. So, with that said, there's definitely some things I don't like about this. One of them being how snappy the self-propelled is. It was literally throwing itself back and forth, almost giving me a bad case of whiplash. Not exactly, but seriously, if whiplash were existed, this would definitely be the cause of that. And also, that this is one of the Dial-A-Matic models, and it seems that all the self-propelled power drive models of this were victims to this. They have no carpet height adjustment. The manual non-self-propelled ones do, higher end models at least, but I'm thinking Hoover didn't add this feature because there was probably some clearance issues from the self-propelled transmission, So they gave this just a self-adjusting head. And if there's one thing I definitely do not like, is to get access to the bag on this thing, you have to take the cord off, because this top hook not only is a cord release, it also is a bag door release. So I do not like that about this vacuum. If I were designing this, I would have mounted the cord hooks on the side. That way you could still have access to your bag door. But other than that, let's go ahead and see what this guy picked up. Okay, just wow. What I'm seeing here is some amazing, amazing results. Now, I would like to keep in mind, I only vacuum once a week between my full house cleaning vids. So what you see is about a week's worth of vacuuming. You can definitely see there is a lot of fibrous material from the downstairs rug. Definitely a bit of fine dust, but quite a bit of pet hair, which actually surprised me because this only has like one row of brush strips and the other one as beater bars, which some vacuum collectors have reported because of that they don't do as good at picking up pet hair. But this surprisingly does a very good job at that, at least from my results. So this is just amazing. For something that honestly does not have too high of airflow, but which is one of the reasons why Hoover eventually decided to discontinue this platform and go develop the Direct Air Concept 1, which I understood why Hoover wanted to go back to direct air. They care more about cleaning performance than revolutionary design. And they eventually sold off this design to Panasonic, who practically flip the bag system upside down, which would forever change the vacuum industry. I mean, just think of what Hoover would have done if they did not sell off this Dial-A-Matic design to Panasonic. They would have probably been even a high-end brand, probably in Panasonic's position, before they finally decided to flip the bag system around. But alas, it didn't go that way, and this still remains a great piece of vacuum history that would later be honored when they, in the late 90s, where they would finally go back to the clean air vacuum market, with the introduction of the wind tunnel. I'm just kind of yammering all on and spitballing stuff. I'm not too sure exactly the history behind the motive for building this vacuum. Definitely, as far as I know, it was definitely to be revolutionary. But I do know this design was sold off to Panasonic, but I digress. With that said, I hope you've enjoyed this full house cleaning of the Hoover Dial-A-Matic. Be sure and stay tuned, and don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.